Hello everybody, Steven here from Cardboard Coalition. And since it's October, I thought it would be fun to bring you guys a how to play of Monster Mansion from Luda Nova. Now this is a 2 to 4 player game that takes about 30 minutes and it's for ages 10 and up. Now, what this game is you are putting on a haunted mansion. You are going to have a haunted mansion and you want to sell the most tickets to that haunted mansion. You actually want to sell out of tickets to that haunted mansion. So how do you do that, right? How do you become the most popular haunted mansion in town by selling out all your tickets? Well, you want to hire actors, which we have a whole deck full of actors here. They're going to come to audition, right? Lots of actors. You're going to hire actors. You're going to get bonuses or complete challenges. You are going to add chambers. You're going to do all this stuff in order to sell the tickets that you've acquired to your mansion. The first person that can sell all their tickets, the first person to sell out is the sell out of tickets, not just sell out, sounds bad. The first person to sell out of tickets has the best mansion, haunted mansion in town. And you have some rivals, right, that also want to have the best haunted mansion in town. So by hiring these monsters that are actors, you hear me say actor all the time, or monsters. In the game, the rules, it says actors. They're real monsters. They're acting. They're being nice for your mansion. They're trying to scare your guests that are coming so you can be the first mansion to sell out of tickets, right? All right. So we have this game set up for 4 players, right? And we'll go over everything that's kind of out here on the table. So over here, we have a bag full of skulls. So it's a blind draw bag full of skulls. We also have a graveyard tile. This is the discard tile. I call it the graveyard tile because you guys can see it's a little graveyard. Once skulls are spent, they go into the discard. So they go on the graveyard tile. We have our deck of actors here, which I already showed you guys. Then we have our actors that you get when you hit certain challenges, and we'll talk about that later. We have our chamber cards that do different things. We'll also talk about that later. We have our tickets in different denominations. We have 1s, 2s, 4s, 6s, and 8s. Then we have our ticket counter board. I think that's what they call it, the ticket counter board. We also have on the ticket counter board are markers for each player, and how you tell which marker goes to which player is on their shield. There is a band around a couple hats. It's not the greatest. I wish there were more orange and different colors, but that's how you tell. So this is the orange player, and I'll show you another one so you could see. And this is the white player, right? So we have our player tokens on the ticket counter board. Then we have our turn order tiles right here. Next, we have our turn order token, and we'll talk about how this works because there's 2 different turn order setups in this. And then every player gets a shield, so other players can't see how many tickets or skulls that player has. And they get their mansion card, right? And this is just to say the mansion. You're going to put your actors across the top, and then you're going to put your chambers off to the right of the card. But I will show you guys that once we get through the game because it takes up some space to set up your actual haunted house. So we'll move everything and I'll show you how the game suggests that you set up the haunted house. All right, so this game is played through 5 phases. There's 5 phases in this game, right? And we'll start with the first phase, which is the audition phase. So in the audition phase, you go ahead and you put out the amount of skulls. The rule book tells you how many skulls to put out, but you can also look down here. So with the 4-player game, you do 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2, which is 10. So you would randomly grab 10 skulls. And let's hope that the video recording gods are with me today and I can pull out all the colors I want to have. So looks like they love me. So I like to organize them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4... Whoops, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need 2 more skulls. So we got to grab 2 more. I like to divide them or spread them out like that so people can see the skulls. So let's go ahead and blindly grab 2 more skulls out of this bag. We got another, whoops, another yellow and another red. All right. So also in the audition phase, and I might have done that backwards. I think they say to put out the actors first. We're going to go ahead and our first group of actors are going to show up to audition for our haunted houses. So what you do is you put out the same amount of cards as there are players. So we have 4 players plus 1. So we have 5 cards, 5 actors that are showing up. Let's go ahead and get this 5th person out. Like I said, it takes a little bit of space to get this set up, but they're out. Now we have all of our players out. So that's the first phase. That's the audition phase. Put out your actors, and then you put out your skulls, the amount of skulls. And it's always going to be 10. It's not going to change the amount of skulls. The actors will change based on what's there. All right, now next, what we want to do is we want to do turn order phase. So at the beginning of the game, you randomly pick who's going to go first, right? That's at the beginning of the game, before the audition phase, once you're giving everybody stuff. You decide who's going to go first, and they get this first player token. So you can, it says just randomly choose. You can go with horror movies or last person to be scared, or you can go very Halloween themed. Last person to put up their Halloween decorations, or first person. I mean, you can go first person, anything to kind of choose what to do. First person, last person to go to a haunted house. And then you just go ahead and give them that first player token. So this first player token, where it comes into play is when you're picking turn order, right? So the first player token, we'll just randomly give it to this person, and then you go clockwise around the table until everybody's picked their turn token. So what you do during turn order phase, the second phase, is first player picks one of these tiles, and we'll talk about what comes with those tiles once we do it. So first player goes, I don't know. I'm okay with going in 4th place. So this tile says these are for a 4-player game. If you flip it over, 3-player game, but you wouldn't use this tile because you just put it off to the side. But a 4-player game, right? And so this means their turn order is going to be 4th when it comes to the casting phase, which is the next phase. But they get 2 tickets, and during the casting phase, they get 3 skulls. So what happens is, let's say the person with the first player token goes ahead and takes 4th place for the casting phase because they don't want to get a whole bunch of tokens. So they grab 2 tokens. And there's a little 2 token. And they put it behind their screen so no one knows how many tokens they have. As tokens start building, going into your collection, out of your collection, it'll make more sense to hide it. All right. So then the next thing that happens is the next person clockwise goes and takes their turn, and they decide what order they want to go during the casting phase. So let's go ahead and say this player feels bold, right? And they want to be the first place player. So they go ahead and grab first place, but that means they have to take 8 tickets. Because they think they're going to sell. They have a plan. They're ready. So there's your first player tile, and they take their 8 tickets. And it goes around. So the next player, let's say they have 3. They take 3rd, and they get 4 tickets. So they get 4. And then the last player has to take the last one that they have. I don't know why I put this one behind the screen, right? And so they go ahead and take this one, which means they have to take 6 tickets, right? So theirs takes 6 tickets, but, you know, they get to go in 2nd place. And they also get 3 skulls. Now, one thing that I missed, but I'll go back and say, if the person who's the first player, right, if they don't pick the first player token, so let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and set these back. We'll bloop, 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 right? So this player is the first player, right? And when they pick their turn, they don't go with the first player token. Tile, first player tile. So this first player token goes under the first order tile, right? And what that means is whoever picks this one, right? We knew it was this person over here, they get the first player token. That means at the start of the next order phase, after this round's done, they get to pick which order they want to go in first. So that's kind of how that goes. And we'll go ahead and set these back to where they were. So that's the order phase. You go through and you pick what tile you want, what tile order you want for the casting phase, right? And so you go ahead and pick that, and you pick it based on how many tickets maybe you want at that point, what order you want to go in, right? Or how many skulls you want, or a combination of all that, right? And then, of course, if the person who has the first player token does not pick first player, that gets down and it goes to whoever picks the first player tile. So the next round, they get to be the first player. All right. So the next phase after the turn order phase is the casting phase. This is phase 3. And there's a handful of things that you can do in the casting phase. First off, in the casting phase, you go in order of the tiles. So that's what these order tiles are down here. So this player right here is the first player. The first thing they do is they get 2 skulls. And they can pick any 2 skulls that are here. And let's say this player goes ahead and picks blue and green. So this player's going to go ahead and grab the blue and green skulls and put them behind their protector. Now I forget what it's called, visor, shield, right? Because they get 2 skulls for the first player. Now they also are allowed to cast. So they can cast a monster directly into their mansion. How they do that is the skulls, even the ones that they already had or ones that they just acquired, they immediately put those on the discard tile, right? And they pay for the actor that they want. Now that's where you can see where this game's a little bunched up, and I'll have to explain a little bit more later. And they would put that actor right in front of them, right above the haunted mansion. And the next thing they would do, this actor allows you to sell 2 tickets. That's what it shows you at the bottom. So this player, we would look, they're the pink player, right? It shows you on the shield. They get to move up 2 spots on the track. So they go 1, 2 to the 3rd spot. Everyone sells 1 ticket for having a haunted house. This is the 1 spot. Everyone always sells 1 ticket. So they move up, they get to sell 3 tickets because they hired the wolf. Now it's the next player's turn. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way just for now. So we would go to player 3. Player 3 gets to grab 3 skulls. Sorry, player 2. After 1 comes 2, Stephen. Player 2 gets to grab 3 skulls. So they might look across here and see what they might need. And they don't see anything that they really, really want. So they're going to go ahead and grab their 3 skulls. They're going to grab gray, which gray is a wild color. It could be any of the colors. It can be blue, it could be green, yellow, or red. So gray is a wild card, wild skull, right? So they decide to grab this one, and they're like, I don't know. I'm going to get a yellow, and I'm going to get a blue. So they pick up their 3 skulls, they put them behind their screen, and instead of casting, because they're not really excited about these, right? Because they can cast any of these 3 cards because they have 1 gray skull. This card takes specifically a gray skull, right? So they go ahead and say, I am going to go ahead and pick up this card and reserve it. And what you do when you reserve a card is you pick it up. It doesn't go directly to your mansion. You don't get to do whatever the actions are down here. And you put it face down by your screen in your play area is what they say, in your play area. So we'll put it in our play area right here. We can move it up a little bit so you guys can see it better. So now this player, player 2, has reserved. That's the second action you can do. You can cast, you can reserve. So they've reserved an actor. Now, the last thing, and player 1 could have done this, but they ran out of skulls. Now, player 2 has reserved a card. They haven't spent it. They haven't cast the monster directly to their mansion. They've reserved it. But what they decide they're going to do is they're going to add a chamber. And this is what I was talking about, where it takes up a lot of space, this game. So they're going to add a chamber. We'll put that like that. They're going to add a chamber to their mansion. And the chamber gives you certain abilities. So let's go ahead and go over what those abilities are. This one means these skulls are equivalent. Green and yellow skulls are equivalent. This is the makeup room, right? So green can be yellow, yellow can be green, and so on and so forth for each of them. Blue to green, green to blue, red to blue, blue to red, yellow to red, red to yellow. So they decide they want this card. And the cost of it, if you see the skulls are outlined, or you can call them white skulls. White skulls mean you can use any color. So player 2 is going to go ahead and spend 2 skulls of any color. They're going to put them in the discard pile. And now they're going to take this chamber tile and immediately connect it to their mansion, which you put off to the right of your mansion. Now, this doesn't allow them to move up the track for ticket sales at this point, but they're building for something later. All right, so once their turn's over, then you go to 4. And so we got tile 4 over here. Sorry, after 2 is 3. I can count. I promise I can count, guys. After tile 2 is tile 3. They go ahead and grab 2 skulls. So they're going to pick 2 skulls, and their options aren't great right now. So they're going to go ahead and grab a red and a yellow. And they're going to put it behind their screen. Now they can also, if they want, add a chamber, right? So let's say they go ahead and they pick this chamber. So what this chamber says is 2 skulls of any color can equal 1 gray skull, which is that wild skull, which can be helpful. So player 3 is going to go ahead and spend their 2 skulls that they just got of any color, 2 skulls of any color, and they're going to go ahead and add that chamber to their mansion. See how this starts getting crowded here. So they're going to add that chamber to their mansion. Once again, this special ability does not bump up their ticket sales, so you don't move the ticket sales. Now, the player 4, see I can count after 3 is 4. Player 4 goes ahead and takes 3 skulls, but they basically just get what's left over, so they grab those 3 skulls. And go ahead and look at them. I don't know, they put them behind their screen. They're looking at some cards here, and they're like, I don't know if I want any of these. So actually, they think this one looks interesting, but they don't have a gray skull to pay for it, so they reserve this card. And we'll talk about what some of these cards do here in a second. So they reserve this card. But they also decide they're going to go ahead and buy themselves a chamber too. So they are going to spend 2 skulls to get a chamber. And we're just going to get this 3rd chamber that we haven't gone over so I can talk to you guys about what this chamber does. So they go ahead and grab the 3rd chamber, or this chamber, all right, and they pay their 2 skulls, any color, and they go ahead and put them over here in the graveyard or the discard tile. And then they add this directly to their mansion. So what this says is they can take 3 tickets for 1 skull from the discard pile. So they can pick a color they want, or they could take 5 tickets from the discard pile to get 2 skulls. So let's say they go here, and they could use this right away as soon as they put it in their mansion. They go, oh, you know what? I'm feeling pretty brave. I'm going to take 3 tickets. So we'll go 1, 2, we'll just mix it up like this. 1, 2, 3 tickets. I'm going to take 3 tickets, put it behind my screen, and I am going to go ahead and take a skull from over here. And I want a green because I didn't see a lot of green on that run. So they get 1 skull. So they took 3 tickets for 1 skull. That's what that chamber does. Now, once everybody has done their turn, then it's maintenance phase. And during maintenance phase, you get rid of, there are people who didn't, any actors, sorry, I was talking to myself. Someone didn't hire, and I just remembered that, or it didn't reserve. So any actors that are left in the audition get put in the discard pile, right? There is a discard pile. There's someone who lets you get into that, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then you take all these tiles and you put them back. You put all the order tiles back. Oh, no. Bad Steven. Bad Steven. Bad, bad, bad Steven. Steven is bad. All right. I skipped a phase. I skipped the most important phase, guys. Before the maintenance phase. So erase, erase, erase. So after the 3rd phase, which is the casting phase, which we just did, before the maintenance phase, which is 5, comes phase 4. So I lied. Steven cannot count. And so phase 4 is the show. And what happens during the show is you literally just sell tickets to your mansion. So you look on here and you just go through and see how many tickets you can sell. The blue player can sell 1 ticket. So they go ahead, they have 4, they can sell 1, so they have to have 3 tickets back, right? The orange player sells 1 ticket the same. They have 6 tickets, so they need to take 5 tickets back. So they get rid of 1 of their tickets. I gotta look at it. The white player gets to sell 1 ticket. So they're gonna go ahead and sell 1 ticket to their mansion. And then we get over here to the pink player. This player gets to spend 3 tickets, because here, we'll put this back here so you can see it. Remember, they have werewolf. They cast a werewolf right off the bat. So they had 8 tickets behind the shield, and we'll just go ahead and give them 5 tickets back because they get to sell 3. Now you have these cards set up in front of you, but you can just look at the track board over here. Now that is the show phase. So you sell your tickets. You literally just get rid of the tickets that you need to get rid of. Once that phase is over, then comes phase 5. Phase 5 is the maintenance phase. So after phase 4 and you sell your tickets and you go to phase 5, which is the maintenance phase, which means you just clean up any actors not hired or cast. They will go ahead and go into a discard pile. All the tiles go back. The order tiles get put back up here like this. And you're ready to go to the next round. And you keep playing through all that until one player runs out of tickets. They sell out of tickets. Now, in a round, you would finish that round, right? Because it's the show round, everybody sells their tickets. If there are 2 or more players, if there's any kind of tie, the player who's oversold. So what that means is if a player, let's say this player pink got all the way up to 13. In that round, they sold 8 tickets, right? So they would have a surplus. I'm just doing that for an example. Pink would have a surplus. They sold 8 tickets. They can sell 13. They have a surplus of 5 tickets. Now, the orange player also sold out in this fictional round, and they can sell 10 tickets, right? They can sell 10 tickets. They only had to get rid of 3 tickets, right? That's a surplus of 7 tickets. So orange, which I can't remember where orange is, orange had a surplus of 7 tickets. They had 7 more tickets. 7 more people wanted tickets than they could sell. And for pink, only 5 more people wanted tickets. That's how you break that tie. That would make orange actually the winner because they oversold by the most amount of tickets. Now, let's go ahead and go through the last couple things really quick. You have some actors that you can get up here. And it shows you with the iconography how the actors work. So the clown you get immediately. You do not pay for these cards. As soon as you hit this requirement, this card comes in to your mansion, goes up there with your actors across the top. And you also move the amount of tickets that you can have. So you adjust the amount of tickets that you can sell. The clown allows you to sell 3. They all allow you to sell 3. But what the clown is saying is if you have 3 of a kind of monsters that don't match, right? I'll get a little closer so you guys can see. So this one looks like Creature of the Black Lagoon, Ghost, Bride of Frankenstein, and Verona. And I think that's what they all have. So they all have those. So you would have to get one of these 3. So you have Creature, I'm pretty sure, is that Cthulhu? Nope, I lied. That's Cthulhu. That's the Ghost. These are a little hard to see. Cthulhu, the Ghost, Bride of Frankenstein, or Verona. If you have those 3 in your mansion, this card goes directly into your actors pool up across the top, and you get to sell 3 more tickets. Now the next card, the zombie actor, how you get the zombie actor is you have 3 of any color. So these cards have colors on the bottom. See down here, there's blue. Let's pull one of these other ones. See the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oops, let's go like that. Has a dark brown. And you have Cthulhu who has this light brown. All right. So the zombie is, once you get 3, it's just a challenge. Once you hit that challenge, sorry, I keep doing it high, trying to make it so you guys can see it. You have 3 of any color card, right? Except for orange, because these are your chambers. 3, sorry, hit the camera too. 3 of any of these colors. Then you get this. And there's 4 in there, so everybody can get one. And then the last actor that you can get, and these go immediately into your acting pool, and you get to adjust your ticket sales, is the witch. And for the witch, you have to have 4 cards that don't match, right? 4 cards that don't match color. So you have 1 of each color, basically. Then you can get this. You immediately put that into your acting setup, and you go ahead and bump up your ticket sales. Now, one more thing. Let's go ahead and get these monsters out here so we can talk about them. Come on down, monsters. All right. So, when picking these actor cards, there are 2 types of cards. There are cards that immediately bump up your ability to sell tickets. So, with the Wolfman or the Werewolf, you automatically get to sell 2 more tickets if he's there. With Cthulhu, and there's some differences, the Ghost does something different. Maybe I'll run through them really quick right now. So with Cthulhu, what this means is you can sell 1 extra ticket per how many ever brown cards, see the color of the card there, that you own. Whenever it points at you, it means you. The person to your left and the person to your right owns. So this means you get 1 already for Cthulhu. Let's say the person to your left and right also have a brown card. It could be any monster, right? As long as the card's brown, you get to sell an extra ticket. So this is straight ticket sales. And now let's go ahead, because I said I would show them. Awesome. She's right at the bottom. Bride of Frankenstein. If someone to your left or right has Frankenstein, you get to sell 2 tickets per Frankenstein that they have. The Ghost. The Ghost deals specifically with you. See the arrow pointing down? And it says 1 ticket per how many chambers. So if any of these players had the Ghost in front of them, they would be able to sell 1 extra ticket. They would move, if they cast the Ghost, they would move their counter up 1 ticket. Now, there's one more. There she is. There's Verona. And what Verona does is 1 ticket per each player that has a Dracula, including yourself. So, let's go back. Where is she? She's further back. So, with the Bride of Frankenstein, it doesn't count as you. You can't have Frankenstein. But for Verona, you can have Dracula. The person to your right and the person to your left has Dracula. So what this is saying is, if you have a Dracula card, the person to your left has a Dracula card, and the person to your right, you can bump your ticket sales amount up by 1 ticket. Now, you can have Verona down, and in a subsequent turn, a turn after that, the player to your left could get a Dracula. Then you get to bump up your tickets. Right now, she's worth nothing. If you had a Dracula character, if you had Dracula in your deck, see if I can find Dracula quick enough. So if I had a Dracula here, she would be worth 1 ticket. So I have Dracula, I put her down, I can get 1 ticket. Now, if one of the players to my left in a later round, subsequent round, gets a Dracula, I also get to move my ticket up 1. So these are all direct ticket sales. The iconography is pretty simple once you look it over, right? Once you explain, it's pretty simple. And then you go ahead and get that. So those are the ticket sales. And as you see, you can have the same character and they'll have different colors at the bottom, and that goes to the color collection. All right. Now, just a few more things to talk about really quick. Let's go. So I told you there are 2 types of cards you can get. You can get cards that directly sell tickets. Same with these challenges. You directly get to bump up your ticket line. Then there are cards that are abilities, right? So with this card, it is, you can give a ticket to a player next to you, right? Or any player at the table. Actually, I lied about that. Any player at the table. I was mistaken. I always say I lied when I'm mistaken. So if you have him in your mansion, when it's the start of the show phase, before people start getting rid of tickets, you can go ahead and give someone 1 of your tickets. 1 ticket, just go ahead and give it to them, right? So what the swamp thing does, if they're in your mansion, you can take one random skull from the bag. So every round, you just go ahead and grab a skull, right? Go ahead and grab a skull at the beginning of your round, and you add it to your grouping of skulls. And then last is the mummy. And what the mummy is telling you is every round, if you can pay for it, you could take a card from the discard pile. So let's say there's a discard pile up here. Of course, there's the mummy on top. Because that's how I roll. So let's say they have Dracula right here. And let's also say that this player does have a yellow skull. Oops, let's go ahead and move the bag a little out of the way so you guys can see. So they have the mummy. They can go ahead and pay the cost for Dracula, which is one skull, right? They go ahead and pay that, and they get to add Dracula to their, and there's another Dracula, add Dracula to their mansion. So that's what the mummy does. It allows you to buy cards from the discard pile if you could pay the cost. As long as you could pay the cost, right? These costs that are up here, one gray skull, one yellow skull, red, right? One blue, one green skull. And you can go through the discard pile. You can, if you have the mummy, you can go, all right, hold on, I'm going to cast someone from here. And it doesn't count as you're casting. It's an extra casting. On your turn, when it's time to do that, so during the casting phase, you can cast someone. If you have the mummy, you can also cast one extra person. So that's what the mummy does. And that is all the abilities that the cards have. I don't think I missed anything. I had to jump back a little bit. But that was a how to play of Monster Mansion from Luda Nova. Right? I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. See you later, everybody.